Man, it is so fun to play my favorite horror-based Team Fortress 2 game mode, Slender Fortress, on the Demon Hamster server, of which I'm an admin of. I wonder who is playing right now. Hold up, Gunpowder, what? I gotta find them! Wait, I'm an admin, I could just no-clip in.
Shout out, I know you be here for me!
You can tell? Oh, yeah, sure. Can we take this to private?
Hey, whatever!
Saw your spray. I didn't know you were a Yakuza fan.
So, how long did it take you to find me? Be honest, laddie.
I'm an admin on that server. You being there was just a coincidence.
I see.
Server wasn't too crazy, was it?
Beats Tao, that's for sure.
True.
Anyway, I heard you be looking for our creators. Fresnel be telling me so.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about getting into contact with yours. You know where I can find them?
On one condition.
Yeah?
If ye as much as put a feather on me, ye won't be flying for months.
I wasn't even planning on doing that, but okay.
Good. Meet me at CTF2 Fort. After the special round, I haven't seen 10 years Nishikiyama yet.
10 years in the joint.
Hi, I'm someone that's interested in a DeviantArt group you used to be a part of, PMD Explorers. I was wondering if you'd like to do a small interview about you and your time at the group for my YouTube channel.
Hi, sorry for the late response and also the late recordings, but I'd love to answer any questions you have.
Alright, I have 7 questions here, and you're always free to not answer questions or leave details out if they make you feel uncomfortable. 1. Do you remember how you got into working on PMD Explorers?
Fortunately, that one's easy. At the time, Glip/Purple Klecleon was a close personal friend of mine, and when they came up with the idea, I was more than happy, honestly excited even, to be a part of the direction for it. So I became one of the joint guild leaders.
2. Favorite and least liked parts of working on PMDE?
My favorite part is easy. That was definitely interacting with the community and seeing all the cool creations they made. I love seeing people get immersed in the world and tell their stories with their characters intermingling with ones that we made. I feel like the least like was definitely judging for the competition/prizes. I feel like in the end those defeated the spirit of what a group like this should be about, which is just tell stories for the fun of it.
3. Were you treated nicely by the members and other admins?
Oh yeah, definitely. At the time I felt really welcomed. Most of them were great friends of mine. Buyo, the person who ran Fraenel, and I remembered his name, Shroomsworth, the Breloom. His creator, as well as Buyo and I, are still close personal friends, though I don't really talk with any of the other admins, but lots of the members from the group. Those other members especially were very kind. I always felt guilty when people would draw me, gift art of Gunpowder, even though for a lot of it they weren't really drawing gift art, they were just drawing a scenario they imagined between me and the characters they have. Everyone was just so nice.
4. How did Gunpowder come to be?
Well, I don't remember the lead up to it, just that I was suddenly one of the leaders of the Rogues Guild and had to come up with a character. But the inspiration for him is actually a Canadian pirate from the Okanagan that I knew about growing up, named Gunpowder Gertie. That's actually where the name and pirate aesthetic came from, and then from there I just tried to think of a Pokemon that fit that theme, and well, I always liked Gabite, and it's a sand shark, so it made sense.
Wow, that's really interesting. I also heard that at the time they were a popular choice for shipping. How okay were you with all that?
Oh, well, didn't really bother me much. People can ship whatever they want. Honestly, I personally did some of that too. Buyo and I talked a lot about Fraenel and Gunpowder being a thing sort of under the table. And honestly, fan theories and relationships are all just for fun, just enhance the experience, so... At the end of the day, I still had final say in what he did, so, I loved hearing the impressions that people got and their ideas. I'd say many were correct, but some were outlandish, but honestly, that just made it more fun.
5. Besides writing stories and making Gunpowder, what else did you contribute to the group?
So I tried to contribute to world building and future planning, but that was never my forte, so to speak, so I was mostly just the guy who was there to bounce ideas off of, and kind of a fly on the wall. But I did help with judging events and moderation if there were ever issues, all the boring back-end stuff, though I'd say we rarely had issues with members.
Oh, what about the things involving Gunpowder's backstory? Were they things you came up with?
Oh, yeah, I came up with all of Gunpowder's backstory to my recollection anyway, other than maybe things that were added to fit into the world. Although, funnily, Gunpowder being transmasculine was an accident, in that the official art for Gabite actually shows a female one without the notch in the fin, and that's what was used for his reference, and we realized that after the fact, and I just thought, oh well, that's how he is now, send it, and it helped me on my own journey a lot, so I'm glad that little silly bit happened.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that to be the case. 6, were there any ideas you had for Gunpowder / any of the characters' future or past had you been able to stay and PMD Explorer continued, or any interesting details about them that never came to light?
I think the big one is exploring a secret or hidden relationship between him and Fraenel. They don't seem like they'd mesh personality-wise, but I wanted to eventually show Gunpowder's softer side, and I think Fraenel would be a good fit. He's a big grumpy guy, Gunpowder I mean, but he cares a lot, and I wanted that to be a theme. So him secretly getting into a relationship with a leader of the Rescuers Guild, how scandalous and shocking. I also would have loved to develop more of a crew for him too, like the ship he worked on. I did have ideas floating around for that. If you don't know, his captain was a Swampert.
Oh yeah, that was Bluegill, wasn't it? And he had a chattel companion named Kane. I think those were the only ones that were revealed at the time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was really excited to flesh them out, but the group closed down before I could, unfortunately. I didn't write down a lot of my ideas, so they're kind of just lost, which is unfortunate. I'll check my Google Drive for any goodies that I can find, and you can have them. Oh, actually, I found some stuff. This is where Kane is introduced. I always, even when I created him, I wanted to accidentally call him Kanye, which is funny. If he's not perched atop Finnegan's head, he will be found very close by. So they had been close friends for a while, and although I hadn't given too much thought to it at the time, I probably should have, or should now, honestly. This would be a good opportunity to tie in with Kathy, although probably in an ambiguous way at first, or maybe not. I'd also say Kane doesn't immediately dislike Bluegill, almost like a sixth sense for people who don't suck. But some more about Kane. He's your typical, pirate's parrot, while also not really being that. He can definitely talk, but dislikes most people unless he feels that they're not, horrible. He mostly keeps to himself, only speaking around Finnegan, which is Gunpowder's non-pirate name, and also eventually Bluegill. Not really shy, just not interested in talking to others. Kind of a loner. So as I just said, Finnegan was Gunpowder's name before taking on the pirate life, and that's also motivated by the Gunpowder Gertie story, because I believe her name was Gertrude Stubbs, which is really funny. So you can look it up on Wikipedia, it's actually there. I also ideally would have liked to have Bluegill framed as a former love interest for Gunpowder as well. They shared a hometown, which of course was a port city, and Bluegill had saved him from some bandits, and then they got to know each other and became close, which is when Bluegill offered to let him come along on pirate adventures, which I don't have very many details on because I never got to expand them. Of course, then eventually Bluegill abandons him or kicks him off the crew with the classic twist of it's for your own good, and Gunpowder grows to resent Bluegill, but of course he still cares a lot, so lots of juicy drama could have come from that. So there you go. I did manage to find some juicy backstory tidbits that I wrote down over 10 years ago that I never got to explore.
Wow, that is a lot. I'm surprised you still have access to all that.
Yeah, it was basically a scratch document I made for myself way back then. There's more details, but they get a lot fuzzier and are filled in with, you should fill in the details later type of notes, so that's the summary of what I found.
I see. Alright, this last one's a little bonus question. It's tradition at this point, for me at least. 7. Do you still want Gunpowder as your OC? I'm asking you this on the chance that you don't want them because of their association with the group.
Well, that's complicated, as I'm sure you know. There's a lot of bad blood and stepped on toes over the whole thing, which, of course, I'm downplaying it a lot, but you've surely heard or know about it by now. So it's true that the association makes me feel a little weird to just kind of resurrect him, but actually I have been considering doing it, bringing Gunpowder back as an OC and making him mine again, owning it, without the baggage of the past. Maybe reworking him a bit. Instead of being a pirate, he is... who knows? Actually, this is a weird example, but have you seen the movie Dodgeball? Maybe he's like Pirate Steve from that movie, except now he's working his mundane job in my world, which has a delivery service for all my OCs to work with.
I haven't seen that movie, but I understand what you're getting at. That's respectable.
For reference, I actually still have this giant plushie here. I actually just sent it back to the original creator to do some touch-ups. So over the years, he's suffered wear and tear, and especially my cats have had their way with him. So the original creator wants to update him to modern standards, as he says. So he still holds a place in my heart.
Oh, is that the one made by Sleepless Totodile?
It sure is.
Man, that's so cool. Does he still have the hat?
He does, though I think it's in storage somewhere, or my cats have lost it. They kept taking it and playing with it a bunch. I've actually remained close personal friends with a large number of the people from those days, actually, and have slowly been rekindling a lot of friendships that ultimately start back up because we bump into each other and the person goes, "Wait, Lati from PMDE? Like Gunpowder?" And I honestly get a bit cagey, but say yeah, and then they're like, "Cool, I loved Gunpowder," and they don't tend to bring up how it got weird in that community.
Yeah, I still want to remember the good parts of PMDE, even though I didn't even know of its existence until a couple of years ago. Because of how inspirational it was to a lot of people, and for apparently being the first PMDE ARPG group that paved the way for more groups like it.
Yeah, honestly, I had a lot of fun with it, and it was a big part of my life then, and a huge number of my closest friends were met through it, like Dial, Blue, Clockwork Shrew, to name a few that I talk to regularly. Also, the creator of Shroomsworth, I'm very close friends with. So, the creator of Shroomsworth has been a close personal friend of mine for over 20 years, actually, which is really funny, honestly.
Wow, that is a long time. I think that wraps up all I wanted to ask. Is there anything else you wanted to mention or talk about?
Nothing off the top of my head, but if I do think of something, I'll be sure to shoot it your way.
Alright, thanks for taking the time to do the interview and—
Oi, what's this thing?
No, don't touch that!